First of all, if you are not a customer, if you are not a customer, if you are not presently a customer, now is your chance. Please tell me the market you trade followed by the size bar that you trade it. For example, if you trade Bitcoin on a 15-minute bar and a daily bar, if you trade the Euro US dollar on a 5, a 15, and a 60, if you trade gold and oil on a 1-minute chart, if you trade the E-mini S&P or the NASDAQ or the YM, these are things that will help me help you get closer to your goals, your dreams of being a profitable or a ridiculously profitable trader. So Barry, you're the first one to step forward. AP, you're going to sign up tonight, so I don't have to show you anything. I'm just sending positive love and vibes to you today. Leo, thank you for that. Euro on the 5, brilliant. Index, Richard. Hey, Richard, welcome back. NQ 1 minute. Anybody else? Bill K. Bill K. Bill, is this the week? Is this the week? Hey, Chris. I have no idea what that means. None. Well played, Maestro. The Phantom of the Webinar. That's Bill. He kind of hangs out in the back with a mask in the dark. That's cool. Thanks for that, Chris. Anybody else? Okay, Barry. Anybody else? Can everyone else hear me? I know Bill can hear me, but I only get non-committal responses. So he has a special audio feed. All right, I've made a list of those things. Let's go ahead and take a screenshot so you know what your associates said, and we're going to make sure we cover there. No, Bill, I just see the same faces all the time, and I know we had a back and forth a while ago, and it sounded like you were ready to go. So when I see people in here time and time again, and they're not a customer, I like to have a little comedy to kind of feel out what's going on. I want to prevent serial attendance. It's not good for you. Anyway, here's what you said. We're going to go through all of it. We're going to talk about some pretty crazy stuff today, so hang on tight as we go through the markets together. Yeah, but I don't know what that means. Like, is that now? Is it 20 years from now? Is it, you know, what if I send you an edible arrangement? Like, how does it work? What's the process? I'm a process guy. I get a little when I don't understand the parameters. Anyway, Bill, you had your chance. We're going to move on. E-mini S&P, Euro, 5-minute chart, ES, 1 minute, NQ, Euro dollar, ES, YM. Chris uses both Renko and minute charts. Overachiever, that's cool. Barry's trying to figure out how to hear us. And Melissa's here. That's all we need to know. I want to thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. First of all, let you know it is thunderstorm season here in North Carolina. And in the event of an interruption in our connection, it seems like every Friday, every Thursday, when we do this webinar, I hear the rumble in the jungle north of us. You can see that's my spot right there. It looks like we have a nice pocket window. Melissa, I used my ESP to create a force field around my house like an X-Man. You shall not pass. But if you lose connection, just hang tight. I'll be here. Hey, Mamie, we'll get that. We'll get your currencies in there as well. We are here today to discuss TachEON Warp, the leading world's only predictive timing tool for retail traders who are using their super smarts to trade futures, forex, equities, options, ETFs, commodities, and cryptocurrencies. And we're going to talk about all of those here today. We are the only company that many or all of you will ever see us do the things we're about to do. We give you the times and the directions at those times 2 days before the webinar. We tell you when those signals arrive in the future, what the setup will be when we arrive at those times. We then let 2 days pass and we add up the results to see if it worked or if it didn't work. Okay? So the three things we're going to cover in this webinar over the next hour are the signal, the setup, and the ka-ching, the silver. If it made any at all. It may have been a horrible, absolute smoking turd of a failure of an experiment this week, but we won't know until we get there. Ultimately, the webinar is about a belief system. If you believe that markets are random, anything could happen at any time, everyone is fair and kind and nice to each other, and no one is manipulating prices with the behemoth power of their financial resources, then this webinar is going to be horrible for you. You're going to leave with a tummy ache. If you believe that there are people in the world, corporations, investment banks, institutions that have a plan every day to push prices in a certain way, whose buddies have buddies all over the place in the Fed, the federal chairman, in banks and government, and that markets are essentially an illusion created to redistribute wealth from poorer people to richer people, then we are about to have a party in a box. But ultimately, what is trading? Trading is a guess, an educated guess backed by a statistical edge with an acceptance of risk about what will happen when, right now, in the past, or in the future. It's in the future, right? So a company named Back to the Future Trading will probably have something for you, So what we do every week, if you're not a customer, is we send out a really weird output from our software 2 days before the webinars occur. So for example, if we scroll down, you'll see times for the E-mini S&P, for crude futures, for gold, the NASDAQ, the DAX, the euro currency, the Dow futures, the euro dollar, and the pound dollar. So Mamie, this is relevant to you, right? This was published on the website and an email was sent out to non-customers on Tuesday of this week, Tuesday, Tuesday. This output from the software was an early warning system of sorts. It is 100% leading and predictive, however, not based on a black box. These times and directions were based on encoded patterns in the data. Times that were intercepted as anomalous. Anomalous. Anomalous in the sense that banks are pushing prices higher or lower with unusual regularity lately. Now, about 90% of people don't believe it's possible to do what I'm about to show you. About 90% of people, even after seeing what I'm about to show you, still don't believe it and leave today. But 10% of you are thinking, this is pretty freaking awesome. So Mamie, when we look at the times, what the software is trying to warn us about on Tuesday, remember, this is already passed. It said, hey, watch for selling pressure at these times. Not because we think so, not because I have a sexy Russian accent and I have 45,000 years experience as a trader, not because my Facebook ad is awesome, but because for one reason or another, these irregular, anomalous times are appearing on the radar of the software. That's it. If they weren't important, if they weren't on the radar screen, they wouldn't be there. Now, is there any guarantee when we get to these times, John, in the future that anything of substance will happen? Is there any guarantee that when we get to these times in the future, anything of substance will occur? No, there's no guarantees in trading. But what if? What if something happened at these times? What if there was buying pressure at 825, 1035, 1230, 205, and 255 in the future? Remember, these times and directions were published on Tuesday. For what? For Thursday. Okay, so let's come take a look and do some shenanigans together, shall we? So I'm looking for Mimi's Euro US dollar chart. There we are. So we'll pull this over here. We'll pull this over there. There it is. Okay, so now I have two sessions of signals right here. So Mamie, can you see that chart okay? Okay. So if we come over here, everything is set to default. Let me make sure I have my forex data feed connected. I do. Okay, let me just reload the data just to make sure everything that's supposed to be there is there. There it is. Okay, so when I look at this chart in relation to what was expected, when I look at this chart in relation to what was expected, there's some weird stuff going on right now, isn't there? Okay, so let me just remind you, this is the histogram that you received in your mailbox that was published on that link, Bill, 2 days ago. Now follow with me, because there's literally no way to fake what I'm about to show you right now. Okay. Mamie, do you see 805? 805. 8:05, 7:55, 7:55, 7:55, 8:50, 8:50, 8:50. So the times match. The chart that was available since Tuesday is what's on my screen right now. Would you concur, doctor? Would you concur that I've not changed anything after the fact to make it look better than it actually is? Okay. Cool. Now, with me, very quickly, I'm just going to look at the times where the thing we were expecting to happen actually happened. Okay? So 6:55 down, 7:55 up, 8:05, Mimi, what was the prediction? Down until 8:50, which was 3 bars, which direction? Up until when? 9 o'clock. The forecast based on the anomalous times was for selling pressure at 9 o'clock into 9:55. So Mamie, 9 o'clock into 9:55, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4 candles at the low, right? And in the middle of the low is the 9:55 signal. How am I doing so far? Today's the day, Bill. Today's the day. No, 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 no. 10:20, Mamie, was supposed to be the time where sellers came in after the buying spree at 9:55. Coincidentally, Mamie, you see this swing low right here with the big double bar reversal and how the banks came back just underneath it right here? Do you know what that's called? That is called the pre-planned stop run. Mamie, how many traders got short at the breakout of that low and sold? Eric, who did they sell to? Who did all the forex traders sell to at 9:55? Wholesale prices. Anybody? They sold to Mamie. Sorry, they sold to the banks. They were selling their positions to the banks, to institutions. Yeah, that's right. So Mamie, not to belabor the point because we got a lot of ground to cover, but you can see and agree with me that almost every one of the signals, the times that we've known about since Tuesday, produced a move in the direction that was anticipated. Would you agree with that statement, or am I full of hockey something? Cocky, I don't know the words. It's an old-fashioned word. Poppycock, that's the word. Am I full of poppycock, or did, let's say, 75% of the signals that we've known about in the market you trade, you agree? Okay, now that's pretty weird. I want you to think about what you've agreed to before you commit to it, because we're going to keep going deeper and I'm going to move fast past this point, but I want you to really consider what you've said, because in a little while you're going to hurt my feelings when you leave here not a customer. Okay, you've essentially said it's possible to know what will happen in the market I trade in the future, and I choose in light of that new knowledge, to A, accept it and use it, or B, ignore it and let it ride the way you've been doing it. And maybe most people, and probably you, if statistics are correct, are going to ignore it and essentially continue gambling tomorrow. All right, so that's the euro US dollar. It's not exclusive to the time frame. AP, you asked me earlier which time frame is best. And so what you're going to see is I'm going to move it up. AP, there's the 10-minute chart. I'm going to go to the 15-minute chart. I'm not changing any of the settings. I'm going to go to the 30-minute chart. And AP, do you see how the accuracy is the same when I do that? I'm not changing the numbers, right? I'm not going in and changing the values. That's the stop level. But the 714 is the default value. The swing strength is 8. When I do that, the numbers stay the same. Okay, I can go out to the 60. AP, the accuracy is the same because time is fractal. Time is fractal. It means that if we look at a very small picture or a very small piece, and we look at a very large piece, the accuracy is the same. It's like looking at the leaf of a tree, and the leaf of the tree looks a lot like the tree branches itself. Time is fractal. We can go all the way out, in fact, to a daily chart using the same settings. I just have to load a boatload of data more. And now AP, here's my Euro USD chart on a daily time frame. I've not changed the settings. It says 714 and 8. But has the accuracy mainly diminished as far as forecasts versus actual movements? No. Here's what's going to blow your melon if you haven't figured it out yet. The next signal on this chart, AP, in the euro dollar is August 26th. That's 14 days from now. The signal after that is 13 days beyond that, which means if you think about it, on a daily chart, we knew about this signal 2 weeks in advance. We knew about this signal 2 weeks in advance. We knew about this one 2 weeks in advance, and so on and so forth. And now we have these signals in the future. And why would we pay attention to the signals to the right of this dotted white line? Because of what's happening on the signals to the left of the line. Mimi, look, it pulls up into the retracement. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles at the retracement, wicks above the top, down into a double bottom. And now look what the sneaky turds do. AP, do you see the stop run right there? It's the same stop run we saw on Mamie's 5-minute chart, on a daily chart. This is the so sorry you didn't get the memo. So sorry you didn't get the memo. Everyone got short and they sold. They sold to Deutsche Bank and Credit Suisse, Bank of America. Thank you. Thank you for your pips. Thank you. Thank you. We'll take some of your pips too. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Mamie, check it out. They do it again. AP, ready? You see that swing high right here? Stop, run, stop, run, stop, run, stop, run, stop, run, stop, run. I had it set up this morning. I post to a Facebook group, the E-mini S&P Facebook group. And no one there believes what I do either. And Mamie, this is a 5-minute NQ chart. And I had paid attention to the stop run, knowing where the buy signal was and seeing the big wicks right here. And Mamie, the next selling pressure time was 10:40. Stop run at 9:35 all the way into 10:40. 5-minute NQ chart. Now, you have to have big huevos to post this stuff. Because Mamie, look what happened. It went all the way up into 10:40, where they ran the stops again. So counter trend signals are stop runs, and they come up and they do it again. My friend used to call this shearing the sheep. Shearing the sheep. They run the stops on the bottom, they run the stops on the top. In AP, the same thing is happening on the euro dollar on a daily scale. They run the stops on the bottom and they run the stops on the top. Note one, the software in its very basic functionality will keep you out of the wrong side. It will prevent you most times from doing something stupid. Don't do that. Just wait. Just wait. Any questions about forex pairs from our friends in the peanut gallery? So Leo, I showed the euro on a 5-minute chart. At the end of the webinar, you have a very real choice to make in relation to what I said earlier. Leo, tomorrow you have the choice to gamble and feel around and fumble around in the dark with your MACD and your RSI and your stochastics, or you have a chance to play with the big boy toys according to the rules that they follow. So we're doing pretty good. We're doing not so bad so far. All right. That was the euro dollar 5-minute chart. Let's take a look at other markets. This is the one that I had. Some of you mentioned the NQ. Richard mentioned the NQ 1-minute chart, so we'll take a look at that. Richard, using the same methodology that we deployed with Mamie, and Mamie, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate you and your courage for speaking up. If we go back to the output on the 1-minute chart for the E-mini NASDAQ for Thursday, you go all the way down. And again, these times don't update, they don't repaint, disappear, reappear. NQ 1-minute chart for Thursday, 346. Okay, Richard, on this chart, you see where it says 346, and then 346 is over here, 331 Eastern, 331 Eastern, 351 Eastern, 351 Eastern. Richard, can we all agree that the output for the email and the web link on Tuesday is what's sitting on my chart for today, Thursday, and that none of those numbers have changed, updated, disappeared, or reappeared? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Now, something fantastical happened at these times. And very much like Mamie's chart, Richard, can you see where the pivots are coming in and where the highs are coming in, where the pivots are coming in and the pushes up are occurring? That's weird, right? That's really weird. Now, here's what I did. Back during the email, I said something else on Tuesday night. I said, we're going to show you how to trade when we get to these times. I told you when we start, we would do the setup, the signal, the setup, and the silver. So the first signal, Richard, we talked about was a signal with trend. If the moving average is going up, a 120 period EMA, we would look at the buy signals. If the moving average was going down, a 120 period EMA per the training video, we would look for a short. Our stop would be 1.5 of the average true range of every bar on the chart. So if the NASDAQ 1 minute chart had an average true range of 20 ticks, the stop would be 30 ticks at that time. Does that make sense, everybody? The second signal was called a puncture trade. And we're going to go over both of those. And Richard, I'm going to go through the signals of the US session and show you what actually happened at those times. Because there's no way this should work. And yet it keeps working, which tells me that these are the rules they're really playing by. If the moving average is going up and we have a buy signal, there's a stop 1.5 ATR values away from the low of that candle. Assume the close is at the top in this example. This would be our entry. So Mamie, stop is 1 tick below the line of the dot. The entry is the close of the candle. The exit is the opposite counter trend signal. So we're in here, and Richard, we're going to exit at the close of the next candle. In essence, we're presupposing that the banks are going to do something again. And when they do that thing again, we want to participate in that window of time. Remember that song, When the Saints Go Marching In? I want to be in that number when the saints go marching in. I want to be in that bank window when that time arrives. So that's a signal with trend. If the original, Richard, if the original signal is down here and then it closes above the moving average like that, here's the close. We call that a crossover trade. The entry is still going to be here, but I don't use the dot. I go 1 tick below the crossover candle, and then we hold it until the next selling signal. Does everyone understand a signal with trend? Pretty simple stuff. What's a puncture trade? A puncture trade is still a trend entry, and it's a little less simple, a little more complicated. Melissa, if I get to a counter trend signal and its stop line is here and it's 1.5 ATR values away from the high of the candle, that's a selling pressure signal. And Richard, what we expect to happen, we're anticipating either consolidation in an uptrend, or, Richard, we're expecting it to sell off, right? This is what should happen. It should slow down and profit is taken selling in an uptrend, or it should fall. Mamie, what's a third option? What could it also still do? Melissa, Bill, what could it also still do? Ranulph, Richard, Salvador. Salvador, bienvenidos a nuestra presentación. It can still go up. If it goes up, what does that mean about this behavior pattern right here? If it goes up, what does it mean about the bank's intentions at that time? They broke their promise. They changed their minds. There's a glitch in the matrix. Meow. So what we say is this. If we get to a counter trend time, we always want to have a trend perspective. If the candle punctures that stop line, we're going to put our stop one tick under the puncture candle, and then Mamie, we're going to hold it until the close of the next signal. Does that make sense? I'm going to buy at the puncture of the stop line. Whoops. And I'm going to hold it until the close from here to here. And then we start all over again. Something happened. They're not defending the position anymore. They're letting the buyers climb higher and higher, undefended. The castle isn't guarded. I want to try and see if I can get in there. That is called a puncture trade. And the video goes into detail for that. So, Richard, when I take your 1 minute signals and I go back and I analyze what happened, you can see, for example, at 11:19, the close of this candle is right here. See that, Richard? The stop is one tick underneath the dot, which is 1.5 ATR values away from the low. The exit is the close of the 11:29 candle. Does that make sense to everybody? That is a signal with trend. The dot is not random. The dot is 1.5 average true range values away from the candle. And that's an adjustable number. In here, you'll see the value, Richard, 1.5 ATR values is presently what's set on that chart. Everybody see that? 1.5. You want to be a gangster and use tighter stops? Make it 0.9, 0.75. Have a party. 1.5. La verdad. So that's an example of the first setup. The second setup, Richard, Mamie, look, it went up. It started to slow down right here. Look, little bull flag. It started to slow down. And then it broke through, George, right here. The stop, Mamie, goes one tick below the puncture candle. And we hold it until the close of the next signal. So in this chart, we have an example of a signal with trend and a puncture. And we see them over and over again. Here's another signal with trend. Mamie, here's an example of a crossover. The white line, the white dot starts out below the moving average. It's still below, it's still below, 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 still below. And now it crosses over and goes to the next signal. We then have another example of a signal with trend. And I stopped counting at 2 o'clock when I was getting the webinar ready. Today, if you add up all the signals, this is what it looked like at the end of today's session from 8:27 to 3 o'clock. These are all the signals. Richard, if I scrunch up the chart, you can see I stopped counting at 2 o'clock. These are the signals from this morning. So what I've done here is I've applied a trading rule to the signal. I've applied a setup to the signal. Does that make sense, Richard? I've constrained it to see if there is an edge over time. Trading is an edge exploited over time. Mark Douglas, author of the book Trading in the Zone, said this: there is a random distribution between wins and losses. We never know what's going to happen for sure. We're not omniscient, at least not yet. Trading is therefore a numbers game. We're exploiting an edge. We don't know which signal is going to work. We know that it's happened over and over again in the past lately. But Mamie, when I come back and I add everything up for the session today, it finishes higher than it started. Now, how old are the signals, Richard? By the time we get to them, they were published Tuesday night, all night Tuesday, all morning Wednesday, all day Wednesday, all night Wednesday, into Thursday morning. So about 36 hours old. And we apply a rule set that I've had published to that website for a year. Same moving average, same stop value, same setup. Do you want to see what it did over 2 days across the full spectrum of times that I gave everybody? That's $3,700, $3,655, ideal. So let's take 2/3 of $3,600. We'll throw some wild slippage in commissions in there. 3,600 times 0.666. So if we put 1/3 of that back, Richard, for commissions and slippage, over 2 days, US session, it's $2,400. I got an email from somebody today saying, your software couldn't possibly work. Really? Really? I'm looking at it right here. I'm looking at $2,400 over 2 days. And the signals are based on what? The banks, not my trading prowess. I'm starting to get these ads on Facebook. You ever get these ads on Facebook for guys that are selling their trading systems? And there's this guy. He wants to impress you, Richard, because look at all the monitors he has. This guy must know everything. Everything. We take the software and we ask it a very simple question. What are the real rules of the NASDAQ? What are the real rules of the Euro US dollar? What are banks really doing at those times? We apply a rule set to the setup. We apply a rule set to the setup, to the signals. And after 2 days, if all we do is get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out, following 3 rules, signal with trend, crossover, and puncture, over and over and over and over again, the model has a positive expectancy. That means you make more money than you lose using 2-day-old predictive times. Again, I can't specify this enough. If it's possible to know what will happen in the market you trade in the future, and you choose, in light of that knowledge, to ignore it and keep doing what you're doing, is what you're doing really trading? Is it? There's the proof. So when we started, I told you we would look at the signal, the setup, and the silver. The NASDAQ is clearly moving, Richard, at the times we said it would. Down at 837, up at 857, down at 907, 926, but that's a puncture trade. Ding! Down at 937, up at 943, down at 1001. Most of the signals, even when they fail, they're moving $100-200 in the direction of the setup most of the time. Richard, there's very little random about the NASDAQ. And AP, if I take this chart and I change the time frame, did you see I didn't change anything but the time frame? That's my signal from this morning. And I can go higher and higher and higher. There's a 15-minute chart. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I wanted to, I always forget to do this. This is a chart for Ethereum. How many of you trade crypto, or you know somebody who trades cryptocurrencies? There are millions of people out there flying by the seat of their pants, watching for tweets from Elon Musk. And Richard, I want you to see it's the same things. Signal with trend, right? We'll just go and we'll see the setups. Signal with trend, 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 and so on. And right here would be a puncture. Oh, I got ahead of myself. Richard, do you think you could follow along with that if you were a cryptocurrency trader? AP, do you see the signals waiting for us in the future? Do you know how many people are actually going to buy the software? 10%. Fewer than 10% of people who see it. It's working on Bitcoin too. This is Bitcoin on an hourly chart. We can go with Bitcoin all the way out to a daily chart, add more data, and see, in fact, that the signals are doing what we expect them to do most of the time. Now, something very interesting happened in Bitcoin. The blue line was punctured right here. And someone asked earlier about trend reversals. When you see a blue line puncture like this, it tells me that the trend is reversing. It means, Melissa, even though there's a selling pressure signal here, and we see over a period of time, Richard, they held the line, right? They were selling into the move, selling into the move, selling into the move. They're trying to keep it down and push it down. But then, Mamie, what happens? Right here, poop hits the fan. And Richard, they puncture. That tells me the trend is reversing. And if I were a crypto trader, I would pay close attention on the 17th of August in 5 days. That's what I would be paying attention to. The trend is reversing. If we take it out to other markets, we can look at crude futures on a daily chart and see how the price of oil is faring. You can see obviously the trend is up. If you're a oil options trader, all of these times were opportunities for calls in oil futures and options. And you'll see the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those all finish higher by the next time, right? We can do this with any market. We can do this with any equity. We can look at markets like Tesla and ask the software to go back and analyze that market for us. We can see with regards to Tesla that right now on the last known signal, meaning we're in a range, which just like the Bitcoin chart is reminiscent of institutions selling into an uptrend. So right here, they're going sideways, they're going sideways, they're going sideways. If Tesla breaks through this line, 1.5 ATR values away, the uptrend continues. And right here, Waziz, can you see where they broke that first blue line back here? That was the trend reversal that we talked about earlier. There was a trend reversal earlier when the white line was blown, and then on the next signal, they went back the other way and signaled that the pullback was deep enough. How can you tell when it's a stop run versus a range? Well, number one, you can see the range. It's pretty clear. Number two, when you look at a stop run, my general rule of thumb is that the wick of the candle is at least the size of the body of the candle. So Richard, this distance and this distance is significant. It's at least equal to this distance. That's a stop run. When you see people coming up here and there's a huge pullback from the high, that would be a stop run. Okay. The next signal for Elon Musk's company is August 23rd. We can take a look at other stocks and equities. We can look at sectors like the airlines. American Airlines right here has been a popular meme stock, and we can see that the last signal with trend was on July 30th. That signal was alerting us to institutional excitement, and we're going to see that last until the 13th. So Richard, in this case with American Airlines, watch with me and think like a gangster bank. There's the high. You see the high? Right there. They just broke it. And they're just breaking it the day before the selling pressure signal. One thing, I don't even have to look too hard, but I suspect that volume has been dropping as we get higher into the move, meaning they're just letting these retail traders, yep. Richard, you see the last 3 days of volume? Is big money in that move, Alan? No. But some guy on a Reddit post said it was going to go up through the moon, Richard. Through the moon, I tell you. There's the high. Is that any different from Richard's stop run on the NASDAQ or Mamie's stop run on the euro dollar, AP's stop run on the euro dollar daily chart? No, it's what they do. It's why people fail. It's why people fail. Because the game isn't fair. It's not fair. Okay, now on the ES, here's what I think. The market slowed down. It definitely slowed down right here. There's the range. Richard, we are no longer in that range. We're going up. We're breaking out. There's a little trick that our customers know that I teach where we take a zone of time and we split it into thirds. If you're familiar with that technique, I want you to see what happened if you're a force customer or an edge customer Look at what just occurred on the ES. We had a range. It broke above the range. It pulled back. And Melissa, right here is that first split. We can take any two spaces of time and we can subdivide them into smaller moves. It's one of the principles governing vibrational law. So I can look for smaller moves inside the bigger move. And Alan, on the ES, we just broke out, pulled back, and now we're in a buying pressure phase for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more days. Right on time. Right on time. There were other markets this week that worked equally well. Gold was one of them today. If we look at the gold chart, Richard, there's an example of a stop run. Can you see it? There's the low. Bazinga. Yeah, Alan, there's a lot with force, man. You should come next month. Brian can set you up with an appointment if you want to learn more. Oh. ES on a 3-minute chart. When you said earlier, who said ES? Our buddies did. Richard ES, Barry ES, Chris said ES, using Renko and minute charts. Barry, was the ES random today or manipulated? And Chris, we can use Renko bars if you really want to see them. I can build it out for you. But Barry, are most of the signals in line with what our expectations were at the predictions? Or do I have to draw all my crazy arrows on the chart? Not really, right? Down at 821, up at 857, down at 951, up at 1030, down at 1103, and up at 1124. Barry, what happens to most traders, especially with the ES, when they immediately execute an order? What happens to most traders when they immediately execute an order to their position? Goes in the exact opposite direction. What happened at the times I published 2 days ago for that same wicked thief of a market? The opposite. It went immediately in the direction of the trade. I'm going to say it again, because some of you will see this and leave here sad. I don't know why, but you go and you watch a sad movie, you watch The Notebook with your wife, you cry later, and you forget you ever saw this. Every one of the morning session signals on the chart that I gave everybody 2 days ago went immediately in the direction. Barry, look at this chart. Stop freaking out on me. This is the smallest time frame with the most signals, the closest resolution we can get. You're doing the self-sabotage thing where you want to try to shake loose of the truth that I'm showing you here. Stay on the bull. You got 6 more seconds to ride it. The chart that had the most information was this chart. 857, 857, 821, 821, 951, 951, 1030, 1030. The highest resolution I can give you on that chart. There are 100 voices in your head. Make him show you the 5. Make him show you the 15. Can you see a picture of his Lamborghini? Does he have a pretty wife? Let me see his audited trading records. All of your brains are racing with self-sabotage questions right now, and you refuse to look at the fact that what I just said is true. On the hardest market to trade, on the lowest time frame with the highest resolution I can show you, the signals went immediately in the direction of the signal. Down, up, up, down, breakout, up, 1, 2, 3, 4 tops, down. Where did it break out from the new high? Right here. Boom, breakout, straight up. What's going on? %90 of you will leave sad today. 90% of you will leave sad today. Yeah, we can look at a 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart had fewer signals. Okay. Did it push up at 7 o'clock? Yes. It finishes exactly where it started an hour and a half later. Did it go down at 8:20? Straight down. Barry, 1 bottom, 2 bottoms, almost touches again, 3rd bottom, the middle candle at 9 o'clock. How far did it go? Immediately in the direction of the trade. Went $3. How far did it go at 8:20? Went $3. How far did it go up here before it flatlined? A whole $1, and it finishes where it started, right there. Now, if you're on a 5-minute chart and you want more information, you can take the signals and you can decrease the size of the swing strength. Look for smaller moves. So Barry, all I've done is told the computer to look for a smaller move historically. Instead of looking at a swing strength of 8, Ellen, can you see here I changed it to a 5? The smaller I make that number, Barry, the more information we get. That's a swing strength of 3, 1/3 of the original swing strength of 8. Do you see how it's approximating, Barry, the 3-minute chart right now? When I start the webinar, every chart, every signal is set to a swing strength of 8. I use the default values. But in your case, on a 5-minute chart, you want to see more information, use a smaller swing strength. Yeah. So same difference, by the way, AP, if we move it to a higher time frame, here's a 60-minute chart. Drawing tools, remove drawing objects, yes. Here's the last 3 moves. And remember, we said it was going to keep going up. There's your puncture, Barry, on a 1-hour time frame. If we go back to default values, from a 3 to an 8, you're going to have fewer signals with larger moves. Fewer signals with larger moves. So is there a method for zeroing on the proper time frame? Yeah. If you trade the 5-minute chart, I wouldn't use an 8-minute swing strength. I would use a 5. I would use a 5. And that's why, Barry, we include training and installation when somebody signs up. We include training and installation when somebody signs up. Barry, here are the signals from yesterday with the default values on a 5-minute chart. This made everybody angry in the forums yesterday, right here at 8:30. straight up until 925. 925 down until 950. 950, Barry, you finish where you start at 1020. No gain, no loss. 1020, Barry, down until 1115. And 1115, you finish where you start. And so you kind of see day after day, there's the Globex session. We go back and look at Tuesday. Barry, it's more of the same, right? There's your puncture trade right here. There's your stop run. Richard, wick, wick, wick. Where is the stop run, Mamie? Right below the swing low. Banks are buying everybody's shorts right here. Boom. Until when? 12 o'clock, which ends up being the high of day. You go back and look at the previous day. This is the Globex section, Barry. You can trade while you're eating dinner. Barry, these are the signals overnight. 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So if you want to trade after your hungry man Swanson's dinner, this is the E-mini S&P 5-minute chart. This is the market and time frame that has broken more accounts and traders than I care to remember over my last 12 years of doing this. When everyone says I blew up my account, I ask them knowing, what market did you trade? ES. What time frame? I was watching 5-minute bars. It is the most heavily manipulated market and time frame I've ever seen. And the software breaks through and tells you what they're most likely to do. Okay, did I miss anybody's analyses? We looked at the ES, the NQ, the euro dollar, the ES, the NQ, the euro dollar, the ES. Was there anything I missed? We looked at Ethereum, we looked at Bitcoin, we looked at the ES on a daily time frame. We have an analysis for the next week. Is there anyone here after everything we've seen, after everything we've added up, after the setups that were known in advance, the signals that were known in advance? Is there anyone here who would say or contend this does not work? It is not 60 to 70% actual versus expectation. It is not net profitable. It is too complicated. I'm all ears if you've got an opinion. Maybe I'm not seeing it. But from what I can tell, it's still working after 12 years. It's still working. And this works on tick bars, range bars, Renko bars, volume bars. It works on non-time bars. So to review, we went over the signal, we went over the setup, we saw the silver in one market. This is who we are. I'm an engineer, mechanical engineer. I'm a co-developer on 6 patents with the US Patent Office. My partner, Ron, is the original MacGyver. Give him a welder, a paper clip, and a roll of duct tape, and we're getting off the island. All we've done for 12 years is specialize in solving the puzzle. You are on the front line. You are on the track, racing for your life. We would love to be your pit crew. We have built you. We have engineered you a sweet solution. I've given you more proof in the last hour than any webinar you've been to. I've educated you more than any guru you've listened to in 60 minutes, and you don't even own the code yet. It comes down to a fundamental question. What is trading? Is it knowing what just happened? Is it a guru showing you the trade he took on his mysterious third monitor that no one can see? Is it what the MACD did 5 bars, 10 bars, 15 bars ago? Or is it about the future? Because if it is, we're the only game in town. Yes, Alan, we have customers trading with their IRAs. Tim Flynn, one of our earliest customers, consistently outperforms the people in his department in his retirement account. It's not fair. The world you're walking into tomorrow is not fair. Barry, it's not fair. Everything about this game is rigged against you. This is what we believe. This is what we believe. You want to win? Use the times that they don't expect you to. Don't be the guy, Barry, who goes short when you're supposed to go long. Don't be the guy who goes long when you're supposed to go short. I don't care if it's a 5-minute or a 3-minute or a 1-minute chart. I can set it up for you when you get the software and dial it in. But what I want you to remember when you leave here today is your trades have the potential to go immediately in the direction they were predestined to go. That bothers a lot of people, that there's a plan that they don't know about each day. That bothers people. It's not random. Somebody is in control of it, and it's not you. You're not in control. And the only way to play is to beat them at their own game. That's it. The only way to play is to play by their rules and use their times against them. If you would like this software for yourself, the next 3 minutes will cover that, and we'll have everything wrapped up nice and tight. While I'm doing that, I want you to discover who you are. Which person are you? Are you the one who goes forward tomorrow into the dark with your Ray Charles glasses, feeling and fumbling around with what you were doing before you met us? Or do you turn the box around and look in it? You can look in the box. You can know what they're going to do most of the time. Again, supernatural proof here today. No one does this. We're the only one who does this. We're going to go to our website, and the product that we're talking about is called TachEON Warp. TachEON, a play on words. TachEON is a theoretical particle that allows us potentially to travel backwards and forwards in time. Eon, describing an endless, boundless amount of time. So our marketing, essentially, our brand revolves around tools that can go backwards and forwards in time endlessly. That's what TachEON stands for. Warp is our most popular product, our flagship indicator. Thousands of people around the world have access to it, and this is the link I want to paste in your GoToWebinar chat box. Brian, you want to go ahead and post your cell phone number in there so I can give them to people? I forgot since the last time. You-know-who. Thank you. At the bottom of this page is a giant Willy Wonka orange bar. Chris, Bill, Richard, Leo, Barry, the proof was in the pudding. The Jello pudding pop. If you click that buy now button, there's a window that pops up. You don't have to buy this. We're not trying to sucker you into something, but some of you like to have a training room where there's someone who knows what they're doing sitting in the room telling you what the signals mean, what's coming next, and what to do. We have that if you want it. We meet Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 8 to 12. My best friend and partner, my trading partner from the very beginning. Ron Gardner runs a room. And if you're an existing customer and you're not in this room, you are mucho loco, because he has a very positive expectancy across his track record of demonstrated executions. He can show you every place that he's told people to get in and out, theoretically, hypothetically. And it's an excellent opportunity. If you're not in the pro room, let Brian know you want more information, because he's crushing it over there. Very low risk, super high reward opportunities in the markets he's following. Big picture, daily charts down to the intraday setups. If that's for you, it's 25% off when you sign up with the software. It's only $149 or 3 ES points a month. I showed you in 2 days what you can do with the NASDAQ possibly in there. So it should be a no-brainer. You should all be in there. But if you don't want to, you're the Lone Ranger, don't get it. Don't do it. Now, this is the purchase agreement. I want to make sure you understand we guarantee the code will work. We're going to make sure there are no bugs. Everything is fluid and functional. We haven't had an issue in years. Don't try to steal the code. Make sure you have a good computer. Please don't insult us and use bad language and bad names if you don't get what you want right away. Most of our issues are resolved within 24 hours. So please email, Skype, and call us so we can take care of something if you're not doing well. There's a promo code available for you. It is the word WARPOFF. I'm going to put that in your chat box. Promo code WARPOFF, all lowercase, no spaces. Please don't mess it up. It won't work. If you hit apply, it takes $500. 1, 2, 3, 4, $500. Did I get that right? I think I did. Comes with free installation. Comes with free one-on-one training, which is recorded. Barry, we're going to set it up for your market and time frame. Non-default optimized values. No 714.8 unless it's the right one for your market. Forex, it's different. Crypto, it's different. Every one of the indices is different. For example, the NASDAQ look back is 1, 2, 3, 0 with a swing strength of 5. I know it because I've been doing it for so long. You're going to get 2 computer licenses. You're going to get free updates for life. No additional money required. You're also going to have access to the video training archive forever. Forever and ever, breaking my heart. Forever and ever and ever. If by some chance you still have a question, we have pro staffers available, customers who are trading with actual dinero that are willing to speak with you. One such pro staffer is Brian at backtothefuturetrading.com. He has a phone number. It's 802-427-4123. As Brian tells the story, correct me if I'm wrong, he was a miserable trader for 10 years. He found us and he used the software to qualify for 4 funded accounts. Top Step Trader, Lilu, Earn to Trade, and UProfit, I believe. He's also available for mentoring and training sessions if you want to know how he did it, what's involved, and what his techniques and strategies are. He is a brilliant young man, heart the size of Kansas. I would strongly advise you to give him a call if you're a customer or a non-customer. He's a great guy to know and have as a resource. 802-427-4123. If you're saying, hey, I only want to talk to the big guy, it's Michael at Back to the Future Trading. My personal number is 336-703-7667. Mike, I want you to talk to my wife. She usually talks to people that could be crazy, and she can tell if you're a thief. Okay. I've actually spoken to 3 wives over 12 years. It happens. It's my mobile number. Please text first, as we may be consuming a meal shortly here in North Carolina. Remember, we gave you the signals in advance. I told you what would we do when we got to the signals in advance. Before we got there, signal with trend, many, puncture trade. Forex, it works. ES, it works. NQ, it works. AP, all time frames. Today is your day, AP. I want to see your order come through, or I'm going to have a, I don't really have anything to threaten you with. I would love for you to buy it though. And then we came back, and with just one market, we analyzed what happened over 1 day's worth of profits, over 1,600 hypothetical dollars, 2 days worth of profits, close to $3,700 in hypothetical profits, using 2-day-old signals, a simple setup with trend. Bada bing, bada boom. It's there for you. Again, who are you when you leave here today? You know that it's possible. If you leave without it, don't be surprised tomorrow when you get in the trade and it goes immediately against you. I want you to remember right now, you chose this. One way or another, you're making a choice tonight. All I can do is show you the truth. On behalf of everyone here at Back to the Future Trading, our pro staffers, our administrators, our technical support crew, our programmers, our developers, I want to thank you from the bottom of our beautiful golden hearts. Those of you that are customers, thank you for supporting us and allowing us to contact and reach traders all over the world, spreading the message of market manipulation and predictive technology. Welcome on board, new customers. We can't wait to schedule your installation. You'll get the code immediately. You can install it on your own or wait for one of our qualified installers to log into your computer via GoToMeeting and customize that experience for you. I highly recommend it. Now, may the wind be at your back. May the glorious sun shine on your brilliant, beautiful, and handsome faces. May the mountains lay low before you. May the valleys rise up to meet you along your journey. Whatever your goals, whatever your dreams or aspirations, trading is a vehicle for that. We want to be your pit crew. We want to be part of your family, part of your support group. We're passionate about that, and we hope we get that opportunity tonight to work with you. Guys, have a great night. Ladies as well. Melissa, no words. Be well, be prosperous, and I'll see you guys soon. And if you get an email from Brian or a phone call, please respond, if only to tell him you're not interested. Guy's got a heart of gold, and he chases after some of you knuckleheads for weeks at a time. Just reply back and let him know what you'd like, and he'll get it for you. Take care, everyone. Good night.